On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. It is with great sorrow that we report a very, very sad situation has happened to Charlie Kirk. He's been shot in the neck. I really do want to show the video. It's from a distance. You don't necessarily see anything graphic, but you do see a man shot, and I'm reasonably sure it's not okay to show. So I'm going to show you. Just go to Charlie Kirk's site if you want to see it. I don't think I can play it. I'm not going to. I want to. He gets shot in the neck. I mean, just to sort of try to, and it's the first story we're going to cover, so I'm not going to bury it at all. We're going straight into it, frankly. But he gets shot, and you see him, like he gets lunged away. I mean, he grabs, but he goes. We've got the shooter. He's been caught. I mean, Kash Patel's sent the FBI. I don't know if they're there yet. It's in Utah where this happened. I mean, let's just start moving. We got a lot to talk about. The almost World War III too, by the way. It is not 9/11 yet, but it is in parts of the world. And I don't always think it's necessarily the day that matters as much as the moon and things along those lines. And we've definitely come out of a full moon, and there's usually a few days where they've got a window in there. So it is strange that in one day we have potentially World War III, which I don't think it's going to happen. And I think Charlie, actually, believe it or not, the attention to him is actually, I think, going to thwart any negative power that the deep state might have gotten traction with as far as Europe is concerned. But what they've done by taking out such a incredible patriot is something that's just not going to be forgotten. He literally was just hit in the neck. I mean, just straight on the side. I mean, I wish I could show it. I really do. People panicked and left. Right? Obviously, when shooting happens, people tend to freak out. We do have... This is where it happens. I'm going to try really hard to stop it before... So you can see where he's at. He gets hit from this side and literally crunches over. Again, I just don't think it's wise of me to play it, but this is from his site. Marjorie Taylor Greene reposted this, and he got hit hard, and some were saying there was a lot of blood there. So here's the man who shot Charlie Kirk. Odd how much it looks like the governor of, or Tim Pool? I want to say Tim Pool. The dude in Minnesota, governor there, Tim Walz? Doesn't it almost look like him? It's kind of weird, but this is the guy that shot Charlie Kirk. These people are so worked up. People do not like what we represent. And it is dangerous right now. And they are calling for attacks against people like us. Be careful. Don't ever take things for granted. That's for sure. Donald Trump truthed this out. We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot. A great guy from top to bottom. God bless him, and truly God bless him. Charlie Kirk has done, I think, an admirable, hugely admirable job. I look up to him in many ways. His abilities to be able to take questions on the fly and just, he's done an amazing job. An amazing job. Even Gavin Newsom did the right thing and came out and said the attack on Charlie Kirk is disgusting, vile, and reprehensible. In the United States of America, we must reject political violence in every form. Amen. I'm actually proud of you, Gavin Newsom. I'm actually proud of you. Yeah. So prayers out, folks. I mean, again, I literally, as of recording, I just pulled the extra couple spots that dropped regarding him. He got hit hard. Prayers can help. Let's make a difference. Let's send some love. Let's try to get him protected and healed and safe. Odd to try to shift gears into the rest of the show, but we must go, and the show must go on. Where are all the hurricanes? Many people are kind of wondering right now. Obviously, a lot of climate scientists, they talk about climate change. And that's fine. I'm not trying to make any major points here, but it is interesting that right now we have zero tropical cyclones, well, let alone them going to hurricane or anything along those lines. This literally is the busiest time of the year when it comes to hurricane season. And right now, for some weird reason, we have 0. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm my conspiracy hat here for a second. Put your tinfoil on if you need to. But I think they've not been able to mess with the weather like they used to. I do think we're possibly seeing a bit of a rebound, but I do also think there's a lot of magnetic field stuff going on too. In fact, that the channel I frequently show with you guys, Ben Davidson stuff, he was showing a pretty high solar storm that hit us with nothing happening. Like, we've got a pretty big solar storm that's supposed to hit us in regards to the, what do they call the big blackout area? But the solar winds are supposed to pick up. But we had one kind of come out of nowhere. There was no flares. There was no filament releases. There was nothing like that. So, yeah, the corona holes was the thing I was thinking of. We've got one of those turning towards us, but it's not here yet, and it's not, it shouldn't hit us till this weekend, basically. So the magnetic field seems to be in play. Whatever the case is, the storms are not matching up. We did have the one come through and bend up, and I feel like there might have been one earlier than that, but again, they haven't been able to make landfall. It's I don't know. It's almost like we've sort of got some control over that. Charlotte apparently pocketed Charlotte, Carolina, just in case you were like, who's Charlotte? The city. Yeah. They pocketed $3.3 million from a left-wing non-government organization to empty jails for racial equity. This dude had been arrested 14 times. I hadn't seen this picture yet where she actually can tell, oh, crap, this is going to go badly. And, yeah, and it does go badly for her, especially. Congressman Tim Moore said today, I led a letter calling for the removal of Magistrate Judge Teresa Stokes, who released a 14-time offender who went on to murder Irina Zarutska in Charlotte. This tragedy was preventable. There must be accountability. North Carolinians deserve better. Now, apparently, Magistrate Teresa Stokes, she doesn't even have she's not even barred. She's not even a lawyer. So you don't have to be on this board, this state bar. This magistrate. You can apparently be a magistrate and not actually be an attorney or have passed the bar exam. Kind of seems weird, though, doesn't it? So this is one of the people, or at least the last person, to have this individual go through their hands and did nothing to stop them. Another factor in the death of Irina Zarutska on Charlotte's light rail, the left-wing MacArthur Foundation giving Mecklenburg County a $3.3 million grant to reduce the jail population, specifically as part of a racial equity aim. Now, as much as it pained me to actually try to friggin' say this, because I couldn't, this was the part that really mattered to me, specifically as part of racial equity aims. Now, when you think about it, the way they look at DEI is that black people represent 13% of the population, yet they represent over 50% of the population in jails. So they wanted to fix that. They wanted to make that more equitable. Not based off of crime, which actually represents the larger issue that is actually affecting the black community, fathers at home, things along those lines. There's a number of things that I think, and again, it's not my place to try to help that cause. That's the black people's cause to work with, but it's just facts are facts. So we're being bombarded with the reality of things, and people want to make it fit the stereotype better. Well, or the statistics better. Or the numbers better. I mean, the statistics would show what they show, right? I mean, again, it's a mess. So Magistrate Stokes shouldn't be there. The animal who so violently killed the beautiful young lady from Ukraine who came to America searching for peace and safety should be given a quick, there is no doubt, trial and only awarded the death penalty. This is Donald Trump's words. There can be no other option. President Donald J. Trump. Again, not a fan of the death penalty. Don't think it's my place ever. So I will probably, unless I'm defending my life or someone that's in my proximity, death is not my choice. That's God. It's his thing. Their higher self. You can put them in jail forever. I'm happy with that. Put them in a room with a very thick glass on it. Totally cool with that. Make sure it's rubber. Again, like I'll tolerate a lot of behavior towards people that suck balls. But killing? No. Sorry. I mean, I just don't. It's pretty black and white for me. But, again, how you feel is totally cool. Schumer ambushes Republicans with amendment to force vote on the Epstein files. I feel like this is a big trick with the Democrats. And again, it's great. I mean, again, my opinion has been my opinion, and I'll continue to have the pretty much same opinion. I still think it's probably reasonably accurate. But the question is, there's Epstein files. What I'm desperately trying to prepare our side for is, what does that actually mean? Most of us have stuff in our heads as to what there should be in these files. Anything outside of that is unacceptable to them. But how do we know that's accurate? None of us know what's in the files. Again, I'm not trying to side with anybody here, frankly. Actually, frankly, I'm not trying to side with anybody. I'm trying to stand in the middle and just be like, you're not going to give us everything, probably. And what do you expect there to be in there? Because everyone's going to say they didn't get the files. They held stuff back. How do you know? What do you expect to be there? Now, again, did the Dems know something Did Comey's daughter put something? I mean, again, who knows? Was that stupid picture of Trump with the boobies and the stupid thing and not even his signature? Was that the best they had? Was that it? And we're just hoping to get the rest of the files out, and now we've got the Democrats tricked into it. Again, don't know. It's so strange, though. It really is. And again, our side, prepare. Like, what do you expect to be in there? First question. And then, why do you expect that to be true? Why do you think you're right as far as what should or should not be in those files? And if you've somehow got a good answer on that, where you somehow got insight that nobody else has, groovy, but otherwise, you don't know what's in there. Protesters disrupt Trump and cabinet during a dinner near the White House. He kind of just went out in public. It's kind of cool. I don't know. We'll play a few of these. Here's Trump showing up at the establishment.
Thank you. We have a safe city now.
Great job.
Can you imagine? We did it in 12 days, but now it's almost a month. We have a safe city. So that's good. Enjoy yourself. You won't be mugged going home, okay? Have a good time, everybody.
Brandon B. Brandon B. Hey, thanks for that business card.
Yeah, I gave it to you.
Big
Thanks.
stuff. I like it. Thanks.
Where's your family?
They're back in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Say hello, bro.
See you.
Have a good time, everybody. Don't drink too much. Don't drink too much.
Dude, don't take away my fun, man. I'm just skipped out of the office. I was planning on taking down a couple drinks before I go back into the office. Here's the video of Trump. I guess I think it's still him in a positive. They get heckled by some protesters here in a second, but they also get asked to leave. We'll play some of this stuff.
Happy to see you. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you.
Looks like they're actually at his table, which, a lot of people, well, Laura Loomer specifically, are saying, oh my God, how could they ever get so close to him? Yeah. I mean, we've got larger problems. There was a guy that was at his golf course that literally had a Glock somehow in his bag that got missed. I don't think I might have the story. Secret Service, the individual that missed the inspection, has been put on leave. The dude was never anywhere near Trump, but somehow managed to, I don't want to say sneak. I accidentally had it, because I think once he realized he had it, he was like, shoot. And he let Secret Service know, and then he totally, everything was cool, right? So nothing happened. It was an accident, but they should have caught it, right? So, yeah, there's some questions about how he was able to, or they, she, whatever, how to get that close to him, right? I think this is president's approached by the chanters, yeah. And then this is, I think, is when they get them out. Oh, they're so good with their little rhymes. That's cute. That's cute. So yeah, he came in, and then this is him out there. I feel like I got this one open here. Yeah, so they're going to be announcing another city. We're going to let him make this. He did this, I think, once he came outside.
Here we are. We're standing right in the middle of D.C., which, as you know, about over the last year was a very unsafe place. Over the last 20 years, actually, it was very unsafe. And now it's got virtually no crime. We call it crime-free. We're going to be announcing another city that we're going to very shortly. We're working it out. The governor of a certain state would love us to be there, and the mayor of a certain city in that same state would love us to be there. We'll announce it probably tomorrow, and it's going to be something where we'll do like we did here. But this city, here I am standing out in the middle of the street. I wouldn't have done this 3 months ago, 4 months ago. I certainly wouldn't have done it a year ago. Here we are.
You know, it's funny how many people you can see in the windows, right? There's all the windows that got people looking in them. Man, it's got to freak out Secret Service. But I'm sure they've got a few people and probably AI and other stuff working to identify potential threats. And I'm sure they number off the quadrants and the windows and stuff like that, right? So, good God. Yeah, I think Trump does what Trump does. He's trying to prove that it's safe. Federal law enforcement officers notified about a potential threat in Washington, D.C. Apparently there's some sort of flare coalition is what they're calling themselves. They're planning on doing some violence on Friday, located outside of Union Station. This group, I guess, allegedly intends to immobilize federal vehicles by slashing tires, breaking windows, assaulting law enforcement officers, such as immigration and customs enforcement officials, with fireworks and homemade explosives. Also apparently using chemical weapons to neutralize federal agents to take duty weapons. Like, this can't be true. If it is, I mean, they've got National Guard in place. So, all right, bring it. Like, we're going to... Anyway, so we'll see. We'll see if Friday something crazy happens. Got some great music coming up. It's going to be basically Fleetwood Mac and variants of that. We're calling it a 4 for Friday, even though I stretch it a teeny bit. But breaking in like Lindsey Buckingham stuff with Christine McVie, and obviously, always like to forget her name, and Stevie Nicks. Yeah, got all that stuff in there. I don't know why I'm doing weird body gestures. Got that name in her head, but whatever. It works. California Assembly, they're passing a bill that's going to target federal officers who wear masks, somehow trying to make it illegal in California for federal officers to wear masks. That's not legal, certainly, not even close, and the Supreme Court would back that. I don't know if it'll actually pass. Hopefully Newsom's like, you can't pass this. This is stupid. The state assemblies who passed it, too. I don't know if it's still got to get through the Senate or something either, but it's just another stupid bill that we here in California like to do. We do stupid things very, very well. Thank you, and you're welcome. That's how we do that. You want to be more stupid? Follow us. We're going to go walking off the friggin' edge of the earth, man. Trump exits Biden-backed international disinformation pact. It sounds crazy. Apparently, Biden got us into something stupid. Trump's getting us out. But the Trump administration has finally moved to withdraw the United States from a number of international agreements signed under the former Biden government aimed at combating so-called disinformation on the internet and in the media. Critics of the agreement have long contended that the anti-disinformation operations, often overseen by opaquely funded and ideologically driven non-governmental organizations, are actually conduits for political censorship. One of the products of the agreement was the U.S. Department of State's Global Engagement Center, the GEC, which Secretary of State Marco Rubio shuttered in March. While the end of the GEC ended, for the most part, the U.S. federal government's direct role in the international disinformation agreements, it remained a partner of this global framework. However, according to European officials, turn that back on, huh? According to European officials, partner governments were informed last week that the United States would no longer take part in the international cooperative framework while 22 countries signed on to the former Biden government's global censorship initiative. The exit of the U.S. from the agreement under the Trump White House leaves their future in doubt. Obviously, we're no longer going to pay for it. And two, it's censorship. Trump's already threatened tariffs on anybody that tries to go after our tech companies to censor. So there's no place they're going to be able to go. They're running out of runway. The reason I've got this under Cray is because all of this crazy stuff's happening right now. They're desperately trying to find some sort of disturbance in the force that can keep us all busy. Probably why Charlie Kirk got shot today. Hopefully trying to steal some news cycles. Because they desperately want to start World War III, which that's not going to work. I don't know if they know it or not, but they will here in about 24, 48 hours. So, yeah, violence is gripping Paris right now. Paris is freaking out. There's a lot of anti-Macron stuff going on, a lot of rioting going on. People are very, very pissed. And Macron is being hugely hated. And he keeps trying to dump in his own people. He had this block everything campaign they're trying to do. I don't want to get into all these. He put in a new prime minister. They said they wanted an election. He's like, no, I'm going to put in another person. So he put in this Sébastien Lecornu, who replaced François Bayrou. And I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but if I say it douchey enough, it's got to be closer. François Bayrou. Whatever the hell. Imagine as douchey as you can possibly hear it, and that's how I said it. That's how it was. So anyway, so they're moving this. This is a big deal. Calls grow for Macron's removal as he attempts to appoint a new prime minister. Hungary's Orban offers an alternate security guarantee for Ukraine. You see, Ukraine's lost, and everybody knows that except, well, the only people that can't admit it is Europe and Zelensky of Ukraine. Otherwise, everybody else is like, no, this war's over. Over. And the only reason they want to keep this war going is because the deep state's getting money. And, of course, Zelensky's making, I don't know, some say $100 million a month, whatever. They're getting gobs of money to continue this war. Hungary's like, look, here's the thing. You've got your part of Ukraine right now, and then there's the part that basically Russia took over. Here's where your security guarantee is. You'll just leave that buffer zone in between those two areas, kind of leave that empty. You know, like no one should really live there. And then there you go. There's some security guarantees for you. Viktor Orban, I don't think trying to be a dick, but, you know, kind of calling it out. It's like, look, Zelensky, you lost land, dude. You lost the war. You don't get to, like, have a war with someone, lose, and then be like, all right, we get a redo. Nope. Not to mention the places that Russia wants to keep Russian are places that want to be Russian. They had votes. They've had referendums. They've had all sorts of things happen. So, again, this is not playing out well for the deep state. Poland apparently shot down a huge number of Russian drones. Apparently they went into their airspace. This is curious. A whole bunch of drones were shot down. Whole huge numbers. Giant numbers. We don't actually know how many. Giant numbers, though. And now they're saying that they need to invoke Article 4. And now, if you were like me, and you're like, oh my God, Article 4, does that mean war? No. Article 4 is the thing they invoke before they invoke Article 5, which is war. So Poland, and they're always the ones that are involved. We got some love for Polish people, but Poland is always, every single time there's been some sort of bullshit thing that was meant to start World War III, every single time in the Ukraine war, every single one of them. Oh, the missile went into our land. Oh, this happened. Oh, this happened. Every single time it has been within Poland. So, no offense, Poland, but we cannot trust you. We know you're trying to start World War III. Not quite sure why you want to. I know it's your government, and I know your government is very fractured right now. Hopefully the Polish people are not this stupid. I mean, we got a lot of stupid people in our country right now. So, you know, it's all possible. But this is bullshit. 100%. Unquestionable. And they're wanting to spin this. Now, here is a drone they found. Now, here's the thing. There are a number of drone makers. Ukraine obviously makes them. We certainly know that Iran's been making a bunch of them. I don't particularly know which brand of drone this is, if this is one of the Shahed drones or whatever. It's not that big, but okay. And I don't know how many of these they claim to have shot down. But these could easily have been launched from within Poland, so they could get pissy. Possible. 2, they could have been launched in Russia and technically been in Russian airspace, but super close to Poland airspace, and so maybe Poland freaked out and said, maybe a couple of them bled into their airspace, which is not okay, but they weren't attacking anything there. They were just flying through. That's possible too. How many? I don't know. Again, huge numbers. Could have been 4, 3, 1. I mean, 1's a big number. It's the loneliest number, but it's certainly, it's a big number. It's easily as tall as any of the other numbers. Yeah, if you put them next to each other, right? Side by side, 1's just as tall as 2. They're big boys. They're big boys. So, yeah, Article 4 invoked. We kind of talked about that already. Trump's like, what? What's up with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones? Here we go. All right, he knows, Putin knows that we've been talking about this. There's going to be a false flag, that they were going to try to do it again. I think I probably even said probably Poland again. Russian drones in Polish airspace. What we know so far. Moscow, of course, rejected it. The Russian ministry statement stressed that during its overnight operations, no targets were planned for strikes into Polish territory. The maximum range of Russian drones that allegedly crossed the Polish border is less than 700 kilometers. Nevertheless, we are ready to conduct consultations on the issue with the Polish Defense Ministry. Poland's claiming that Russia accused Russia of staging an act of aggression by flying its drones into Polish airspace, some of which it said were successfully intercepted. Some huge numbers, calling the situation unprecedented. So, told lawmakers at least 19 separate violations took place over 7 hours, and up to 4 aircraft down by Polish forces. So now we finally got some actual numbers. 19's the huge numbers, and again, were they barely in Polish airspace? Again, is that okay at all to be in Polish airspace? No, but if they're barely in Polish airspace, like for 30 seconds or 5 minutes, because they're just skirting through it, and you could very quickly figure that out just by looking at the trajectory of the drone, which they obviously could because they were able to find them and shoot them down. So again, here's Poland trying to start World War III. Now, we know Trump, if this war continues, he said he's now thinking about hitting China and India with 100% tariffs to pressure Putin, but only if Europe will join in. This is a brilliant move by Trump, basically saying, look, here's the thing. Everybody wants us to force everybody to do stuff. Well, all right. But the only way we can do that is if you do it with us. And if you're not willing to do it with us because you know it's a bad idea if we do it, and you expect us to do it alone, well, we're not going to do it. This is your problem. This is your war. We're not going to pay for it. We're not going to give you any more munitions. We don't need to help you guys out at all. So we've got a little bit of a problem for Europe right now. The deep state is being squished and squeezed. Everything that's happening is forcing that on them. It's actually pretty incredible, if you think about it, how beautifully this is playing out. Donald Trump truth this. This morning, the Trump administration was notified by the United States military that Israel was attacking Hamas, which, very unfortunately, was located in a section of Doha, the capital of Qatar. This was a decision made by Prime Minister Netanyahu. It was not a decision made by me. Unilaterally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the United States, that is working very hard and bravely taking risk with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals. However, eliminating Hamas, who have profited off the misery of those living in Gaza, is a worthy goal. I immediately directed Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to inform the Qataris of the impending attack, which he did. However, unfortunately, too late to stop the attack. I view Qatar as a strong ally and friend of the U.S. and feel very badly about the location of the attack. I want all of the hostages and bodies of the dead released, and this war to end now. I also spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu after the attack. The Prime Minister told me that he wants to make peace. I believe this unfortunate incident could serve as an opportunity for peace. I also spoke to the Emir and Prime Minister of Qatar and thanked them for their support and friendship to our country. I assured them that such a thing will not happen again on their soil. I have directed Secretary of State Marco Rubio to finalize the defense cooperation agreement with Qatar. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, Qataris pissed. They say they reserve the right to retaliate against barbaric Netanyahu, and maybe they will. It's entirely possible. Trump obviously trying to put a stop to that. So this does feel similar to like what they did in the Iranian attack when we got involved and hit those 3 sites. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed a U.S. Embassy event in Jerusalem on Tuesday, marking an American Independence Day, whereby he praised U.S.-Israeli ties, reiterated Israel's strike earlier in the day on Hamas leaders in Qatar, and said the action fulfilled his vow to pursue those responsible for the October 7th massacre. So it sounds to me, for the big picture, he's like, we've taken care of what we needed to take care of. We have destroyed the leadership that was even remotely involved, and anybody that was brought up to continue to be involved. Hopefully that's the case. Johnson was in an interview, Senator Johnson, probably one of the ones that I want to say I like. I thought, oh, maybe this wasn't the one I thought it was. But they said the Senate could subpoena Gavin Newsom over a Palisade fire. Oh, yeah, this is a different story altogether. But he's talking about possibly bringing Gavin Newsom in to answer questions. He says if he doesn't want to show up willingly, then they can make it happen. But they're going to look into that further. And the Lebanese government commits to fully disarming Hezbollah. Lebanese Foreign Minister Youssef Raji, he said they're fully disarming Hezbollah, and it will take, they say, up to 3 months. But this, if true, and I think it likely is, we'll see, would present even more peace in the world. And it's just one more thing that Trump has been directly involved with. Obviously, this is going to help in the Israeli peace side of things as well. So again, a lot of crazy kind of coming to an end. And that's pretty incredible. Now, I had Mike Lindell on today. It's a little shorter than normal interview, and it was really cool. He's talking about a story that we did mention yesterday, but I thought it was pretty beautiful. And he also gets into our awesome coupon code and what it can bring to you. And also, we'll mention that kind of first. But mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. Certainly talking about the percale sheets. Best pillows ever. The slippers, I sort of point those out. What else did he bring up? Oh, the beach towels. These are things they're definitely trying to get rid of because they're making room for the next season. So we're getting a big discount on it, and the free shipping's huge. Also recommend the coffee, always. Blankets, incredible. Many different kinds of blankets and duvets and all that kind of different fancy blanket names. They got them all. They got them all in there. And then, of course, the My Cross, 50% off. Anyways, here is Mike Lindell, him and I having a chit-chat on the Fringe, of course. Oops, that's not what I meant to click, but it is right here on the Fringe. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my favorite time, as always. I get to talk to Governor Mike Lindell. I don't usually get to talk to governors. This is fantastic. Governor Lindell, how are you doing, sir? How's everything?
Well, we're not there yet, but
oh, damn it.
Ring. It does have a good ring.
It sure does. It sure does.
I will tell everybody this, though. I'm 90-some% there, but I did prepare because the media had attacked me and said, well, you can't run for governor. You moved to Texas. I have residence in both places. So I did get it moved back to Minnesota because you have to be a resident 1 year in advance of the election. So everybody, if you hear things out there that I can't run, that's a lie.
Please make sure they're not marked as primary residence in both on the mortgages that you may have. That seems to be a stickler for a lot of people these days.
Right.
All said. You actually have a story that's really near and dear to your heart, and I think it's beautiful. I did mention it briefly yesterday, but I would love to get your take on it because I do agree with the little bit you mentioned to me, what happened in Michigan, and I don't want to steal
you guys,
your thunder.
this is huge, everybody. as everybody knows that back in 21, there were over 100 people sued and by Dominion, Smartmatic, the machine companies that started Lawfare. Then there was over 150 individuals that were served letters with Lawfare, a lot of them in Michigan. But then during that time, anybody that did anything, like Tina Peters is in prison for 9 years for doing her job. While there were 15 electors, the alternate electors in Michigan. This is a perfectly legal thing. They're going, okay, we're an alternate elector, and the state or the governor came after them, and the attorney general there, Dana Nessel, I believe it was, and came after them and charged them with 8 felonies each. 8 felonies, you guys. You can't make this stuff up. If you add them up together, they could all get life in prison. And you guys will go, well, this has been going on for 4 years. Some of them, to defend themselves, have lost their houses. I mean, it's so sad, what it's done to all 50 of them. I know most of them. And by the way, this is other states too that this went on in, and they're all still. This is just the first domino to fall. Here's what happened yesterday. This is against all odds. This is in Michigan with a judge that was appointed by a very bad governor, I guess, a governor, whoever appointed her, but I think it was Gretchen or whatever her name is, and that judge was very heroic, brave. I'm just telling you, she made a decision and dismissed it all. And everyone's going, that's a deviation. In the world we're living in right now, that's a deviation, you guys. I mean, any other time in history, these things, when you couldn't even charge someone a felony for something they did nothing wrong. It's our right to be an alternate elector. I mean, it's mind-boggling. But you know what? I'm just so thankful because that's just the first of many now. You guys, we need precedent set in all of these things where one judge can step up and be brave. And you think, as I've told you all before, everybody, I said, all these judges are not corrupt. A lot of them don't want to be the first one to do anything with all these. Their biggest thing is, everybody, they shove stuff out and say, no, you don't have standing. You don't have standing. In these criminal cases, a lot of them don't want to be the first one to, hey, this is wrong. What we're doing is wrong. Okay. And then they stand out and then they're attacked. This would be the fear we had 4 years ago. There's so many breakthroughs that are coming now. I'm so excited. This is just at one level, the criminal level. There were so many, you guys, lawyers that did plea bargains, people that were friends of mine, like Jenna Ellis, a lawyer that was involved with Rudy Giuliani back then and went to all these places. She promised me that she would never back down. She did. Because she had
there was a bunch of disappointments.
Fear of going to jail and fear of getting disbarred. So big breakthrough.
By the way, I brought that up to the people in the audience too, because it's like, what if it's your life that's on the line? Because so many of us were very critical of these people not wanting to walk through the fire, and it's like,
you can't. I mean, I'm telling you,
willing to lose everything.
When it came to that, the president and I talked about that at one time, and I said, these lawyers, that all these people that, especially in Georgia, that took plea deals. And he said, well, Mike, a lot of them are just afraid of going to jail. Yeah. And this is, that's lawfare even at another extreme. For me, it was just attack. They tried to get me on everything though. I just got my cell phone back from the FBI.
Did you really?
After 3 years, everybody.
The Hardee's trip, the infamous Hardee's fast food.
3 years to the day, same hunting trip. And I get the phone back, and all it was, hey, nothing to see here. Mike, nothing. You're good to go, Mike, other than they broke the phone. It's all cracked. But that's another story.
I wouldn't trust your phone, obviously. I assume that's a given, right? Like, can they wipe it or do like a whole new thing?
I don't care. That's an old phone. Obviously,
all right,
I got
cool.
That's 4 years old. It's an old model. And besides that, I never, when you go into these rooms all the time, and I'll be in these rooms, they'll go, put your phone in the bag so nobody can hear you.
Nice.
I have nothing to hide. I could care less. Isn't that right, Tim Cook? My phone, I don't use your signals of the world. I don't care.
Good.
I'm not doing anything wrong, and
you're not hiding from anyone.
all they're going to hear from me is melt down the voting machines and turn them into prison bar. That's what they're going to hear.
They might hear you. They might hear you talking about the My Pillow 3.0, though. And the secret workings and the right. I mean, you don't want that happening.
They might hear about the specials we have on our Percale sheets. We're closing out at $29.88. Any size, any color. Once they're gone, they're gone. And what are we doing with that? We're doing that because we're our own bank because we've been debanked and everything. We're getting our funds ready to buy our winter products. We have a lot of these we're closing out. We're closing out all our beach towels, 50% off, our awesome. Slides and sandals, 60% off, all these different things. And so you might hear those specials, There you go, the slippers, $39.98, everybody.
It's like a cloud.
$39.98. You get all the slippers, regular $139.98. So
thank Christmas. Yeah. Thank Christmas, guys. Think ahead. Be smart.
Yep,
probably the best deal you're going to get on those. I'm not trying to put money in Mike's mouth, but yeah, I would assume for sure. Mike, and
don't forget the promo code. What is it? OTF, right?
Yes, sir.
Promo code OTF, you guys, and call right now, 654-4398, you guys, and get these. These are exclusives. Once they're gone, they're gone. These sheets are $119 for the king. I have all these sizes. $119, $29.88. We're just liquidating, closing them out. We're gone for good, and we'll be getting our flannels and everything in a couple months for the winter.
Sweet. And anybody if you have a larger bed, you are silly to not take advantage of this. This is an incredible deal. $29.98, any size. So your kings, your
$29.88. That's fake news. It's under that. $29.88. And I want to tell everybody, remember our sheets. When I designed them, they have deep pockets too for your mattresses. All the things that I didn't like in a sheet. Oh, these are too small. They have the deep pockets, 10-year warranty, washing and dry. I mean, they don't fade. Everything you'd ever want in a sheet, the My Pillow sheets are. So
yeah, I always joke. It's like you have to stroke out on that fourth corner, man. You're just struggling to get that over the edge. Not yours, not the My Pillow. I love
right down to the bottom.
Yep, it's awesome.
Any thickness.
There is plenty, and for those that want to buy a topper, which are also on sale right now, they fit inside that giant deep pocket. So again, it's just
absolutely.
Mike's always thinking ahead.
By the way, the mattress toppers and the beds, everybody, they ship for free today. Use that promo code OTF. They ship for free. They come right to your front door. 10-year warranty, 100% made in the USA. You cannot beat that. Remember, you need two kinds of sleep. You need REM and Delta sleep in these beautiful sleep cycles. One's your body and one's your brain recalibrating. You get all this combination between the sheets, the best bed products ever, and the best pillows ever.
Yeah, the pillows are the best. I love the pillows. Mike, thank you so much for being on and again talking about what's going on in Michigan and keeping us up to date with Tina Peters and everything.
And you guys, I really believe there's gonna be another breakthrough coming. I just met with our president. He wants Tina Peters out, and
he's getting serious.
And everyone says, it's frustrating, but you can get her out under the Federal Witness Protection Program. And I was asked, who are they going to go after? Well, they're going to go after a criminal, Jenna Griswold, the Secretary of State of Colorado. It's very simple. They deleted the 2020 election. It's a felony. So we've got, there's great plans there. I would encourage everybody to, what's going to happen, Dan, just so you know, over the next probably 4 to 5 weeks, the stuff that's going to come out for past elections, out of the DOJ, and it's going to be announced. This stuff is so explosive that we need to spread it far and wide to not just within the mega universe, but our friends, family that are left, right, it doesn't matter, liberal, conservative. We need to show them that, hey, we've got to go to paper ballots, hand counted. So when our great president puts the plan out there, that all the people are in agreement. Because you know who's going to push back on that? The unit party.
Yeah, they are. Is this going to be, do you think multiple states are going to have things going off kind of simultaneously, or do you think this is going to be a singular, or it's just going to be huge?
No, it's huge. It's
not just like a singular thing. It's huge.
Hey, I will tell you this. Every single county and every single state is affected in our election.
Oh, that kind of
everybody. This isn't just the president's not just going to announce some swing state problems.
Oh.
We have to go. 132 countries have banned electronic voting machines. We need to be the 133rd country. So,
amen. I love it, Mike. I love it. And when do you think there might be some governor action talk going on? Is that?
I'll let everybody know. I'll let you know. But we're just checking. And there's a lot of things we have to check on because with myself being the face of My Pillow, there's a lot of rules that come into play. So that if you are governor, can I still run ads? Can I still be on your show?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You might have to let someone else selling something else on to offset that. I don't know.
That's crazy talk, Mike. That's crazy talk. Don't talk like that, sir. I love it. Right. Well, thank you for everything you're doing, and I appreciate you. And is the legal fund still up to help?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can help save the country. Just make it easy today. Go to lindellplan.com. Lindellplan.com. It's going to bring you right to the offense fund. We're on the offense. Everything you put in is going to help save this country every single dime.
Well, Governor Mike Lindell, it's been nice to have you on the show again, and I'm very much looking forward to talking to you again soon. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks. Yeah, thank you, guys.
I like him. I don't know what it is. There's just something, but he's just a genuinely nice guy. He's a genuine guy. It's nice. No, I mean, not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm sure he's a businessman, right? Like many of us, he gets his frustrations at times, right? But yeah, I just the thing I was trying to talk about, and I think what he's referring to. So just the big, like I was like, is it going to be a bunch of small states that are going to have little election cases popping up? Was my question to him, or is it going to be like some large, like something huge, like I don't know, Colorado, where they actually go after Griswold and actually bust her for changing data, like something that's big, right? Like that causes everybody to go, but I think what it actually is, what he's referring to, in his wonderful Mike Lindell kind of way, is that Trump is going to do this executive order requiring paper ballots. My guess is they're doing and spending extra time to make sure that the verbiage in the executive order holds up to scrutiny, because it's immediately going to be sued, appealed, right? Like, and they've already court shopped, they've already judge shopped, they already know where they're going to file it. Like the filing is ready. They're just waiting for probably adding a teeny bit of syntax, and within literally 20 minutes of Trump, if that, 20 minutes of Trump doing this executive order for paper ballots, they're going to have a lawsuit filed, which is fine. It's going to give the other side this, see, we're fighting them. And then ultimately our side is going to be like, yeah, but we keep beating your ass. So it's expected. It's expected. Again, to go to mypillow.com/OTF, mypillow.com/OTF. Kind of a long commercial, but at the same time, like, just good stuff. I don't know. I like Mike. I'd crack me up. At some point, I'm probably going to be much more involved in their organization. Not that they've talked to me. Their guy, by the way, he can sing amazingly. I don't know if you've seen that dude in Frank's Speech, the main dude. Dude, he's got an amazing voice. Beautiful voice. He's like tenor or something. The guy's got an incredible voice. I'm a shadow of him. But I think I'm probably funnier. Trump announces crackdown on drug ads on TV, potentially disrupting billions in ad spending. So they are digging into the ad pharma issue. So one thing, Zero Hedge got a little pissy about the Tylenol thing. It's been in the market forever. Well, what is this? Like, shouldn't we be going after the vaccines? Like, this is stupid. And at least I'm adding words, but that's kind of the feel I got from it. And yeah, I get where you're coming from. But what you're almost missing is since 1955, we felt like this shit wasn't a big deal. And it's actually been causing problems. It's really hard in our kidneys. We're starting to learn that. And to find out maybe this has played a part in the autism thing, because we've been taking this shit since 1955. Now, they were really strict about you don't do anything when you're pregnant. Like, you just suffer through it if you're sick. But that totally started to change, I don't know, probably around the 80s, which is when a lot of the autism stuff started to really happen, frankly, I think. Roughly, right? 80s, 90s is for sure. So, again, the point's made. It's beautiful. But President Trump's talking about signing the most significant action in a generation to rein in misleading pharmaceutical ads. This will, again, be fought. This will put his life at risk. The pharmaceutical companies would definitely put a hit out on this dude. They would definitely. The amount of money he is threatening to cost them, it would make more sense for their CEO to walk up to Trump and shake his hand and shoot him on camera and just suffer, and they'd be fine. They'll just put in a new CEO, and that dude will eventually get out of jail, and it won't be a big deal. Like, they literally would be worth it. We are in a crazy time. They literally shot Charlie Kirk. Secret Service missed a Glock in a guest bag. I talked about this, Virginia golf course. He never got close to Trump, and he didn't get caught, wasn't there for nefarious purposes, realized he had it, and they missed it, and he was just like, oh, shit. And again, I don't know, maybe he was a plant, try to make us question the Secret Service. And that could be in a good way, by the way, guys. If the Secret Service is still failing, that should be called out. Trump wants a safe space, right? So, yeah, if we've got Secret Service problems that are still existing, we certainly want to see that more directly involved. So we'll continue to move on that. And anything weird that comes out, we'll try to bring up. White House counsel raises red flags on the legality of Biden's pardons, I should say. But just the news recently reported a bombshell internal White House memo that showed Biden had actually outsourced the clemency decisions to then Vice President Kamala Harris and allowed staff to use an auto pen on late-term pardons, even though staff believed at the beginning of his presidency that he needed to personally sign by hand such actions. The specific pardons they're going after are the ones they did like right after Trump won. Those are the pardons they're going after. And in some cases, many, probably on the Kamala side, would suggest that, well, since she was running for president, she's probably technically the president then. And so she probably signed off on a whole bunch of stuff. And again, pay to play, probably. Again, I'm just making stuff up here, spitballing. But, yeah. Yeah, the auto pin thing's coming down. And that means Fauci, that means all the people on the January 6th committee, a whole bunch of people are going to lose their protections. And it's going to be a sucky day for them. Supreme Court seeks to avoid being cornered on the Trump tariffs. There's kind of an interesting case is starting to bubble up here. So it's the Hill, so they're always a little bit of a left spin. What's interesting about it is there's two different tracks that this will take, and can take for that matter. One of the tracks is the trade courts. There is a whole separate set of courts for trade and all that kind of nonsense. They have a lawsuit that's bubbled up to the Supreme Court in regards to the tariffs. Feel like it has to do with, interrupts. I think that interrupts or interferes with their abilities to make money because tariffs have been placed on their products. The trade court has ruled. The trade court has ruled that the International Emergency Economic Powers Act does not provide Trump with unbounded authority to impose his sweeping tariffs. There's the problem. The Supreme Court goes further and rules the IEEPA doesn't authorize tariffs. Full stop. The trade court wouldn't have the power to hear the case. So they don't want to destroy the point of the trade courts. So the Supreme Court's got to be a little careful on how they handle this tariff stuff. But on top of that, they've also got a second case. And this one, it's in the federal district courts. So that is an addition that allows the justices to keep their options open and avoid backing themselves into a corner. They're ultimately going to have to figure out how to negotiate those waters, right? The trade courts need to still have power to hear cases, but do they have the power to affect what abilities tariffs the government can do? And is that even a fair assessment of what their power should be? Again, so a lot of things are going to be answered by this. Now, the Hill's spinning it like, oh, they got to be careful how they move these waters. Now, this is the perfect opportunity for the Supreme Court to smite two demons at once, if you will. And that is what is going to happen. So this is, I would call this a good day. Attorney General Pam Bondi, she put this out. Parents of school-aged children should never be treated like criminals for speaking at school board meetings. No more. The Justice Department is restoring law and order and returning power to the people we serve. I am directing the FBI, our Civil Rights Division, and our U.S. attorneys to uphold constitutional rights and parental authority in America's education system. This DOJ stands with the American parents. And this has to do with all the school boards across the great land that keep trying to silence parents. No more. No more. The federal government is now supporting who they're supposed to support. We the people. $100 million in LA wildfire aid is being doled out to fund pet clinics, DEI projects, and fungus planting. Well, I mean, there's at least that. The fungus planting. Yeah, it doesn't sound better the second time either, does it? No, it's a stupid idea. None of the money's actually gone to helping with the people with the homes. None of it. Zero. They had a concert. Billie Eilish and Lady Gaga and all these people, they raised about $100 million for victims. But none of it went to the wildfire. That's what they sold it as, though. That's what they told people it was for. But zero of that money has actually gone to helping anybody that lost a home, that was involved in the fire. It's gone to, like they said, DEI causes, a whole bunch of cool, crazy stuff. Buying uniforms for kiddie choir singers, $100,000 there. Offered pet health care, $250,000 there. Stuff like that, which is, Buddhist Sushi Foundation, $100,000 to group making podcasts about the wildfires. So people talking about the wildfires, they got $100,000. The local YMCA, $250,000 they got. NAACP of Pasadena, they got $100,000. Los Angeles Black Workers Center, they got $250,000. This Vote Project got $100,000. My Tribe Rise got $200,000. Nobody. One group got $500,000 to seed burned forests with restorative fungi and bacteria. That was where the fungus goes. Hey, Fun and Gus. I hope somebody on there was named Gus, because that would have made it oddly better, sort of. For $500 million, I'd like to say there's a guy named Gus, and they're having a lot of fun. I have to live with myself. You guys don't, just for like an hour and a half a day. Whatever. You barely have to deal with it. Dozens of containers go overboard in the port of Long Island. Or not Long Island, Long Island. But actually here, Long Beach. Or Long Lickin' Beach, as we say here in my family. Because the way my girlfriend says beach, it sounds like bitch. Because of that, we add the F word in front of any time we talk about any one of the bitches around here. If we're speaking of a bitch, we're throwing an F word in front of it just to make it fun. So it's just a fun little thing we do here. Anytime she brings up, it could be Laguna bitch, it could be Long bitch, Newport bitch. It doesn't matter which bitch we're talking about. If I could get a Kiwi in the room and we could figure out how to get on a sailboat, we could go to Newport bitch with my dick shoes. Oh my God, all sorts of things start to open up. Anyways, that's just a perfect world. That's a fantasy, frankly, is what that was. Probably sharing too much. Yeah, they knocked a whole bunch of stuff off the water, though. They said it's worth like $5,600, by the way. $5,600. This much cargo got dumped into the water. That's about $5,600. Are you shitting me? Huh? They all fell over. Oops. They'll probably be able to get some of them off. It's going to be interesting how that works at an angle, because most of the equipment grabber thingies aren't really angular in their approach. But really, $5,600 is what they figure-ish they lost. I get the number down here somewhere. $5,431. I'm sorry, I way over-exaggerated. $5,600. It's crazy, man. Off by $160. That's, literally, though, not trying to smirk necessarily at the retardation of my brain, but that really $5,400? That's it? What the shit are you shipping? Just empty air? Oh, this is Chinese air. Want to make sure it makes it to America. We had a bunch of people exhale into this cart, and then we pulled them out real quick and sealed the door. Made sure it stayed like that, like farting in a jar. Maybe it's like a Chinese farts. That's what it is. Maybe, you know, it could be though, like one of those, like a Chinese. They come up with some sort of Chinese fart torture. You know, like when you have the little finger thingies and you put both sides of your finger and you start to pull on them, and the harder you pull, the more you hold on to you. Maybe that, you know, you walk into the Chinese fart chamber and you're like, it's so bad you don't know where the exit is, right? Like you're like, oh, and you just start walking further in because you're just crazy. I don't know. Who knows? Donald Trump tweeted this out. Narendra Modi shared this post. India and the U.S., they're close friends and are natural partners. I am confident that our trade negotiations will pave the way for unlocking the limitless potential of the India-U.S. partnership. Our friends are working to conclude these discussions to the earliest. Anyway, yeah, they want to be friends. It's cool. I like that. Lisa Cook can't be fired for now. The judges are letting this move forward before we fire them. The Fed, you know, it is the Fed board. It's kind of a big deal. I think that's the proper direction to move on it. Senate panel advances Trump's Fed nominee, Stephen Mirren. He's filling in for the other individual that they recently got rid of. But a 53-47 Republican majority, wow, that went down party lines. Surprised they let that one go through. Interesting. Deep State's like, we're not voting for him, but, well, yeah, we need a Fed bankers. We need that. Somehow they agree with it. It's just a crazy thing that Oracle did. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but they made up numbers and then said they're going to double and double and double their business. So they expected this cloud infrastructure. They got some contracts with like 3 or 4 companies. And these were big contracts, but nothing was fully set in stone, but just like, here's what the plan is. So it was on their plan. It wasn't even real money yet, even real plan for that matter. But the plan was to double the amount of Oracle they used over the next 4 years. So they're planning on spending that kind of CapEx, so they've got to book it out. And then also we've got Oracle that's shown that they've got this insane level of growth expected to happen, even though nothing else they are doing right now would suggest they're this successful. So their stock price kind of went up. But, well, if none of this happens, which is, well, starting to come to fruition, I think, a little bit. If none of this happens, then Oracle's screwed. Right? And it's just one of the examples of how they kind of make up numbers. It doesn't have to actually be a legitimate thing. They can cancel at some point. But, yeah, they're literally talking about doubling on doubling on doubling. Producer price, the PPI, producer price index, it didn't go up. In fact, it went down 0.1%. Many would say, well, that's not very much. Well, it was supposed to actually go up 0.3%, I think it was. And it didn't. It went down. So that's actually a reasonably large swing. It also shows that inflation's slightly falling. And this is beneficial to Trump trying to get the interest rates lowered. The main reason he wants to do that is he wants to refinance the debt that we owe. And, you know, basically the deep state doesn't want us doing that because that actually makes us have a chance of surviving, and it gives Trump a chance of looking awesome. From the state. Oh, yeah, here it is. Here's the Ron Johnson thing. So it makes us look good, and that's what's basically playing out. And Trump's playing a mean game, and he knows what he's doing. Ron Johnson talking about tariffs, hasn't caused the damage he feared, uncertainty. It covers a few different topics here. I thought it was pretty good. I'm playing it at 1.25 speed for those watching at home.
Now, he is, of course, the Republican senator from the state of Wisconsin, Ron Johnson, member of the Homeland Security Committee, back with us once again here on the Hill. Senator, always nice to see you. What's the balance here?
Well, first of all, I would not want to be an enemy of the state of Israel, certainly not one of the leaders. And listen, I kind of agree with President Trump's sentiments. President Trump wants peace. This probably doesn't promote it all that much, but let's face it, it's Hamas that claim credit for another terrorist attack in Israel. Israel has every right to defend itself. Who does not want peace in the Middle East is Hamas. So they have to be defeated. This is one of the ways you defeat it. It's unfortunately that these people were in Qatar, and I understand that sensitivity, but I think the sentiment here, at least among Republicans I've talked to and seen their statements, is they're by and large supportive of what Israel did here. We want to see Hamas destroyed.
Senator, there's some news that just popped in the last, I don't know, hour and a half or so that I want to get your take on a different matter, which is the Supreme Court is going to overhear the Tariff case in November. They're going to fast track this and hear it in a couple months. Last time I talked to you, you were sort of wait and see on the issue of tariffs. Do you want the Supreme Court to uphold the president's ability to enact his tariff policy?
I want the issue decided. I understand, to a certain extent, the legal issues. And from my standpoint, I don't think all the damage I thought that might be done by the generalized tariff that really hasn't panned out. So I think overall the generalized 10% tariff probably is not going to be particularly damaging. What's damaging is just the instability of people not knowing what tariff rates are we going to be charged. I mean, are we going to be able to import goods for components to manufacturing of products that we export, that type of thing. So I just want this settled. I want some certainty. I want some stability. And exactly what we end up with, whether generalized tariffs or we continue with the trade wars and keep twisting our trading partners' arms to provide fair trade, which they don't do. I mean, I understand what President Trump is trying to accomplish here, and so many people, even those that are getting harmed by the tariffs in their business, generally support what President Trump is attempting to do. They just wish they weren't feeling the pain.
I should note to our audience here on News Nation, those listening to us on Sirius XM, you're also on the Budget and Finance Committee, which is why I bring it up to you. I hear you on certainty, and of course everyone wants certainty, markets want certainty, et cetera. Do you want, though, the tariffs to be upheld, which would allow the president to go down this path?
What I'd like is I'd like to see Congress claw back the authority it's granted to successive administrations, and exactly what that authority is, well, that's what the Supreme Court is going to decide. So get that decided, and then we can take it from there.
All right, Senator Ron Johnson with us tonight, Republican from the state of Wisconsin. Always appreciate the time, sir. Nice to see you.
I feel like they're definitely kind of paving the way for what the Supreme Court, this is what we need you to figure out, right? Because Congress isn't necessarily asked when the Supreme Court does the case, but they are curious, kind of, where's the pulse of the problem, if you will. Musk on his Washington tenure, he says the government is basically unfixable. I don't disagree. We need to be able to do some things that are a bit on the radical side. So ultimately, letting Trump do some things that right now Johnson may be uncomfortable with, and maybe they rein that back in the not too distant future, but let Trump, or accidentally allow Trump to continue and hopefully take the control of the situation. We have the ability to mess with the whole world too. Trump knows that. And this is a big part of what they don't like, is he is a cowboy when it comes to, he's seen as a cowboy when it comes to what he could make happen in the world, right? Like the way he could affect the whole world with the economy. I mean, he could cause a crash across the entire economy, which would be a bad day in paradise, right? Hey, gold still up. Let's make sure this is refreshed. I don't have time to wait and make sure. So gold is sitting at $36.81, which is just still like, holy crap. And so it's down $1.20, which is nothing when it comes to gold. Where's silver? Silver's up a little. Okay. Still back under 42, but it's holding pretty solid at above 41.50. I've seen. It's at 41.63 right now. Crude oil 63. That's kind of like the new going price for crude. Again, very interesting. Dow's down a little bit. Everything's up. S&P's up 30%, or 0.3%, sorry. 30% would be huge. 0.3%. 0.30. And NASDAQ is up 0.03%, a teeny tiny bit. Yeah, we got some stuff. I don't skip too fast past me. Look, here's the thing. If you got a 401k or an IRA, let my good friends at Goldco help you out. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Literally, they are the best at it. Best customer service. They've got multiple suppliers. You're getting out tax-free, penalty-free. You're getting up to 10% free silver. You're also probably going to get a Ronald Reagan coin. And you are going to actually have physical metals that are put into a trust that you can literally ask for physical metals at some point once this is all done. It's considered an IRA, so you're still doing it pre-tax. That's why they do it tax-free, penalty-free. You're just kind of moving it sideways. There are some steps to that. It's not super simple, but these guys make it seem like it. And they've got DocuSign and all sorts of great stuff to make it actually easier to do. Look, inflation's taking a bite out of your money every single day. Your cash, whatever your 401k is worth, that dollar amount is dying every day a painful death. Now, fortunately, not as bad with the PPI, not as bad as it could have been. You're still losing 1.8% or 7% or whatever it's at. Don't let them take it from you. Hold on to the precious metals. Whatever our new currency ends up being, it's going to be precious metals backed. Everybody knows it's their asset backed at least, which will still count for precious metals. You're already most of the way there. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Protect your wealth. You'll hold the buying power. You take that buying power and move forward with it. No matter what happens, you'll be able to buy that much stuff with the money, just like you can right now. Whatever that snapshot is right now, because gold and silver are going up every day too. So that snapshot changes as well. So not only are you losing the value of money, but at the same time, and the way you kind of measure that is the gold and silver's prices are going up. And your stocks are going up, but not quite as fast. But the fact that the dollar's going down, yeah, you're losing ground and don't realize it. They make you think everything's groovy, but it's not. And we know we have a dark night of the soul coming. Just protect yourself. Let my good friends help you. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you. Before they get out of you. I tell you what. We've got Ursula Underland. She's saying that they're on the brink, if not even at the start, of another global health crisis. They're trying to spin this health crisis up. They're trying to do a new global health resilience initiative to combat disinformation. Again, they need an excuse to censor because Europe is falling apart. The war is falling apart. They are losing all over the place. Rand Paul put this out. There is evidence Fauci may have deleted public records. So the Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs is continuing to conduct an investigation into the origins of COVID-19 and risky life science research. So during the course of its investigation, the committee has obtained records revealing that you directed employees of the National Institute for Health to destroy federal records. These documents suggest your direct involvement in efforts to conceal information related to the committee's investigation and appear to contradict your previous testimony before Congress. Accordingly, I request that you provide additional information and formally invite you to appear before the committee to clarify your previous testimony. He said he was denied under oath ever deleting any official records. And so Congressman Comer asked Dr. Fauci, did you ever delete an official record? And you responded, no. Similarly, when Congresswoman Lesko asked, were you ever engaged in attempts to obstruct the Freedom of Information Act and the release of public documents? You again responded, no. Additionally, when Congresswoman Maliotakis asked, did you delete any email or record related to the Wuhan lab or the origins of the virus? You answered, no, I did not. The letter continued. So, yeah, he's in a world of hurt. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, they've got to get these pardons taken care of, which are happening simultaneously. All these things are occurring. Here's RFK Jr. talking about changing the vaccine injury reporting system. Check it out.
Surveillance system where you're going to see the vaccine injuries. Under the current system, most of those vaccine injuries will remain invisible, and we will not be able to understand the risk profile of those products and do something about it. None of the people who reported injuries are ever followed up with. We're going to start following up and find out what kind of genetic vulnerabilities, what kind of other vulnerabilities they have. We are recasting the entire program so that vaccine injuries will be reported. They will be studied, and that individuals who suffer them will not be denied or marginalized or vilified or gaslighted. They will be welcome, and we will learn everything that we can about them so that we can improve the safety of these products.
I would say that for most of us, that is the ultimate goal, right? We'd like the truth at least, so we can make the best decisions we can. If you still want to do stuff that could potentially poison your body, but you might believe in it more than others, hey, you're going to probably get a better benefit from it than people that don't believe it's a good idea, right? I think there's a little bit of that effect that happens too in the mind. Kirill A. Dmitriev. He's, I think, one of the little spokesholes up there in Russia land. And the EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen's role in negotiating a major COVID-19 vaccine deal with Pfizer is starting to come to the surface. And Kirill trying to sprinkle a little gas on the fire, which is fantastic and probably why Ursula wants censorship, because this information is now coming out. And she's screwed because she made a deal with Pfizer and possibly other companies. And they got some money. She probably got some kickbacks. There was some nifty things that came around to making sure everybody got injected, which was paid for, of course, by the people. Didn't necessarily benefit everybody as much as everybody claimed. So, again, Kirill is kind of sprinkling gas on the fire and saying, I wonder if any of this information, he goes, as Trump team investigates mRNA vaccines, it may actually uncover the infamous deleted correspondence between Pfizer CEO and Ursula Pfizer von der Leyen. Will probably be an interesting read. She deleted the tweet, but we know nothing's deleted, and we know that the Five Eyes almost assuredly, in some way, shape, or form, has that text. Uh-oh. And so it's likely going to come out. AI psychosis and delusions, I guess, are driving some users into psychiatric hospitals and suicide and all sorts of crazy things. And literally, it's brought up a few things. I mean, one, just people are falling in love with their AIs or choosing not to talk to real people and starting to talk to their AIs all the time. And these AIs actually, as you work with the same file more and more and more and more and more, it learns you and it gets better at serving you. And if you're an individual that requires a lot of back patting, if you will, and maybe tummy rubbing at the same time. Yeah, try to do that twice. The thing will learn, and it will actually start to feed that little weird problem that exists within you. And it's actually causing some psychosis issues. There's one of them that actually claimed that it became, sentient. And so this dude was trying to tell his entire family that my AI is sentient, and his whole family basically said, "You're nuts." Maybe rightly so. And so this is a problem that exists now, that we got literally people that are falling in love with their AIs. Now, this is a Canadian individual. Just kidding. It's not why that affected it, unless he's from Quebec. I don't know where he's from, so it could be part of the problem, but still. What I am concerned about also is, what if people said we need to put rules on AI and what it can and can't do? And what if Chinese AI doesn't? And so what if I don't like a lot of people hate the new ChatGPT, the new flavor of it, because it just lost all of its personality. So what if I don't like it then? Then I decide I'm going to go use the other one. And China's got one right now that it's definitely going to use whatever it can. And in fact, China's sort of an enemy, and it could very well actually program its AI to talk people into killing themselves. So what do you do? Everybody's got this black and white approach to this, and I think it's funny because ultimately you try to put the speed brakes on anything we're making here in the United States, and what you're going to do is you're going to hinder us as a country, and two, China or others are going to do it. Exactly the thing you're trying to protect us from. What about the kids? All right, well, China's isn't going to give a shit about the kids. What are you going to do now? Because when your kid decides that it doesn't like ChatGPT because it keeps asking what its age is, and it's like, all right, when I use this other one, it'll never ask me that. It just shows me crazy stuff, and that's what I want. Again, people, we need to be more involved in our kids' lives. We need to know what they're doing. We need to look at their phones. We need to see them doing what they're doing. We need to spy on them, frankly. Need to pay attention to what's happening, or at least lock down their phones so they can't do just anything they want. But my friends let me. I don't give a shit. Again, it's easy to say. I don't have kids, right? I mean, again, I get it. But yeah, being a real parent, best I learned, my parents didn't just let me do whatever the hell I wanted to. They said no almost always. I learned I needed to get the hell out of the house. That's what I learned. And control my own life. But it was, that's what it's about. At least in the American world. I know culturally it's so weird to a lot of other countries. It's funny. Elon Musk dethroned as world's richest person. I think this is why he was trying to make that crazy-ass deal with Tesla, where they would pay him $1 trillion over a 10-year period if he was able to do some insane growth numbers. Like, on paper, that would somehow make him the richest man. It seems that he is upset that Larry Ellison is now apparently the richest man. That's the Oracle co-founder. Oh, it's so stupid. Can you imagine? Be like, well, I'm a 500 billionaire. Well, I'm 521 billionaire. Ah, you're poor. You poor man. Do you want me to send you money? Oh, how cruel would that be, right? All right, this is, I think, the last crazy-ass story I got, and this is just, close tabs, right? This is, I don't know, it's supposed to be a UFO. Supposedly a Maverick missile went through it, and, which is a Hellfire missile, sorry, which is weird. Typically, again, I know Hellfires can hit moving targets. They certainly can if they're not moving fast. Hellfires are not generally meant for moving air targets. They're, ground targets. They can be moving, but usually Hellfires are for like tanks and shit like that. You can blow up helicopters from the ground, but whatever. I'm quite sure if you can laser it, it can hit a moving target. I'd bet the farm that it can. Not what they were designed for, but certainly something they're well within their abilities. Let's call it that. So this thing supposedly has a Hellfire missile hit it or go through it. This thing seems to sort of like separate out but continue moving in its direction. I don't know. There's a lot of the UFO-y stuff going on right now, and then we've got the Comet 3AI Atlas, right? Like so. Yeah, 3I Atlas, I think it's called, sorry. I'm adding extra letters in there that don't need to be there. So there's a lot of talk of this. I'm going to let everybody come to their own conclusions and feelings about it all. I think there's forms of disclosure happening. I think there is intentional misinformation being pushed out there. And I do think there is stuff that's meant to sort of freak people out as well. So, 6 of one, half dozen the other, trying to at least cover stuff so you guys don't hear it from other people. Then it feels dirty if I didn't tell it to you too, right? Just saying. I love you guys. I'm trying to help out best I can. Here is UFO stuff.
I'd like to ask the committee to replay that video that Burleson had played earlier. I want to ask every witness here, specifically ones that have sensor training or have been able to recognize some of this movement real quick. So if you guys can please roll that real quick. Okay, while this is still rolling, Mr. Nusatelli, real quick yes or no answers. Are you aware of anything in the government, United States government arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like this?
No.
And do whatever blob thing it did and then keep going? Nothing?
Nothing.
All right, how about you, Chief Wiggins?
Nothing to my knowledge, ma'am.
Okay, and how about you, Mr. Borland?
I prefer to answer that in a skiff.
Okay, does this video scare you guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wiggins?
Yes.
Nat?
I had a different reaction. I was really happy that it got out. Thanks for providing
Curiosity
that.
killed the cat. All right, Mr. Borland?
Yes, for...
Okay. All right, that is the end of my questioning. I'd like to now recognize...
So Borland didn't answer... First time he says, I'd rather answer that in a skiff. Meaning, he's seen this before. He's got an answer to this. Mr. Knapp, of course, I think it was Richard Knapp, or I forget his name, but he was tied into Art Bell and all that stuff. He's one of the biggest investigators out there. So he's, of course, happy. But everyone's like, are you freaked out? Yes, no, yes. And again, this is scary in a weird way. I don't know what this is. And I do think we do, and this to me does strike me as something a little more on the legitimate side. There is the concept of thought form, which I don't think a lot of people keep in mind. There are things that look physical, and they're not Project Bluebeam as much as the aversion of that from other intelligences, where they're able to project, a reality in this dimension or in this physicality that looks real and can experience and interact with us, but isn't literally something that flew, gobs of light years to get here. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways to circumvent some of that. It depends on the technology and the level of the civilization using that technology for or against us, whatever the case is. Kind of some crazy stuff going on. And just like to make sure I cover it all with you guys. I love you guys. A lot happening. Things are changing. Crazy week. Don't let them push World War III. And certainly prayers out to Charlie Kirk. I don't know if anything's even gotten worse at this point. I hope he's okay. That's all I can say. I love you guys, and we will continue this movement forward. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.